Welcome to Orange Country.
Okay, here we go. So we're just jumping in because Matt Rogers is here, who is an actor, a recording artist, a philanthropist, a host of a hit podcast, and just honestly, an entertainer.
And has been on more, I would just like to say, more game shows than I can count.
3.
Very impressive.
I've done like a triple
I
crown.
can count 3, but
You're the
you
triple
have
crown.
a triple threat.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Celebrity Jeopardy.
But Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You were not on the celebrity version.
I went on I applied. I literally went
as like
into
a regular contestant.
I went to an open call in Brooklyn. I was waiting tables in Brooklyn, and they were having a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire open call, and I literally just like went there. Like I forget what I said or how I got on the show, but in the middle of my interview, the guy goes, "I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna move you to the next round." And I was
Did you feel like the smartest man in America at that point?
I think it might have been the personality.
So they
He's like, you've said 4 inappropriate things since we've been sitting here.
Gina,
you're in.
I feel like since Matt walked in, at any moment you could look at me and go, "I'm going to stop you right there. He's taking your place."
I'm not here.
Is that how you ended up with your podcast?
I have to say, I am pausing my game show thing to say I'm such a fan of you both, and when I found out you guys had a podcast together, I think I'm not one of those girls that like gets into DMs and is like, "Can I be on the pod?" But I did DM you. I was like,
well,
I had to.
I'm so happy you did because we're so happy you're here.
I'm excited.
Well,
And
I could do this all
as
day
well.
because I am. Let me tell you.
Oh,
I mean, Matt, I'm a true I am a fan.
Super fan.
I fell in love with you on I Love That For You.
Oh man,
That was when I started looking for you. You know, when you see someone and
you
you're
were
just
checking
like,
for me after I Love That For You.
we just first of all absolutely loved that show. We ate it up, and I know you probably hear that all the time.
Because
Well,
I
it's
am
hard
not,
to
but I
find
say
now.
that all the time.
I was gonna
Love
try
That For
to. I was gonna try to come to the reading that you guys
last
just did.
night.
Was it last night?
Yeah, so just for people that don't know, it's like this show that was on Showtime. It was me, Vanessa Bayer, Molly Shannon, Jennifer Lewis. It was really
The
great.
cast.
Oh my
See,
god!
and this is the thing is I think people just didn't know about it. Because I think had people known about it, it's also like it's set in the world of home shopping networks.
Okay.
So just for a second, imagine like Vanessa Bayer and Molly Shannon doing home shopping.
I would watch that all
I'm
day.
telling you,
I
the
would
only
literally watch that
heartbreak
all
in
day.
watching it is knowing that there's only one season.
Yeah.
Because when you're watching it, which I watched it when it came out,
Yeah.
you know what I think?
What?
And this may be an unpopular opinion.
Go ahead.
I do not think the title helped it.
It was originally named something else, and I'll tell you what it was. And
Okay.
tell me if you think this is a better title. Big Deal.
Yes.
I think so.
What happens is I would tell people about it, and I would say, "Have you seen I Love That? I Love That You. I Love That For You."
Yeah.
Because the truth is, that's not even a big phrase.
It is to me though. That's
People that say it
say it.
Okay.
Yes.
And- But here's the thing, like the reason why I didn't, and again, I've loved the show, and it's not necessarily like never coming back. That was one of the reasons why we did this reading last night, was
Right.
to hopefully.
Let's bring it back.
Oh, I
Well,
think it will.
I said like if people knew where to watch it, like
That's
they
the
would.
other
If it
thing.
were on Netflix,
Yep.
I think people would gobble this up because
Yeah.
it's 8 episodes. They're a half hour.
And because I've already watched everything that Netflix has to offer. So
Well,
if we
yeah.
could just
And
kick
Gina,
it over there,
I'm telling you,
that would be great.
You would love it.
It is so good.
I am going to watch
I
it.
haven't
Really good.
suggested
It's
it to
very
one
funny.
person who didn't come back and go, "Holy shit, I love this show." I couldn't stop watching it. It's
really good.
got a lot of heart. It's
Yeah.
got real storylines.
Yeah.
But then the comedy. I mean,
Yeah.
you and the girl, the bitchy.
Aiden Mayeri. She plays Beth Ann. So yeah, there's like this basically the story is like, I love that I'm pitching it and I'm telling you, you cannot watch it because it's not on Showtime anymore. That doesn't exist. as
First
an
of all,
app.
first of all,
not on
but it's
Paramount Plus.
Max now.
You can so this is how confusing it is. There's Max, which
Yeah.
used to be HBO Max, and now is
Yes.
Max, and there was Showtime, which is now Paramount Plus with Showtime.
Okay.
But it's also not on there anymore. You can buy it on iTunes. So I'm telling everyone.
Okay.
You can buy the show on iTunes, and that's how you can watch it.
Okay.
But-
I'm going to
And
do
it's
When
that.
you do
worth it.
that, you will find a show that's about Vanessa Bayer, who plays this woman who, as a child, she survived cancer, leukemia, and that's actually a true story from Vanessa Bayer's life. Like
Okay.
she really is a cancer survivor.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So she basically gets through cancer as a kid by watching the Home Shopping Network. Like, she's addicted, and it's her dream one day to be on the Home Shopping Network and like sell little crafts and like, look at this diamond pendant, you know what I mean? Like that vibe. So she gets older. She finally gets the chance to audition and gets it, and she gets fired because she's like just kind of a flop. She's like good at it but very awkward. She's like Vanessa Bayer, you know? And then when she realizes they're gonna fire her, she lies and says, I have cancer. And lies that she has it now.
Wow, smells
Very
like Brooks around here. Yeah.
It's
ding,
like
ding,
Brooks,
ding.
but with a heart and jokes.
Wait, what did you just
That's a
say?
trigger.
It what?
Like Brooks.
I know that's what I thought you said. I couldn't. No, it's a
Smells like a
storyline.
scandal.
Imagine Brooks were as charming as Vanessa Bayer.
No, I mean
It'd
we
be
would
a-
all be.
It'd be a lovely, heartwarming watch.
Yeah, instead of a crash and burn
I know,
situation.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But the show,
Vicky's
like,
recovered well. I'd just like to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Her
Well,
new boyfriend is very
Vicky's
very much
great now?
yeah, Vicky's recovered well. Like the man she's dating now is like a really nice guy. They're super
Yeah.
in love. So like I was happy for
That's
her.
really
everyone deserves
That's
that.
boring.
Yeah.
I just
it's
feel
super
like-
boring
I don't
and I'm happy
care.
for
I
her.
want Vicky in a
and
terrible
I love that
relationship.
for her. I
and-
love that for her.
I love that for her, too.
Yeah, good for her. Go on.
I mean, we
I
hope all
do.
the housewives come together. We hope for what's it called? Conflict and resolution.
That's
Yes,
right.
yes.
Yes. But
So-
also don't hold your breath.
yeah.
So I'll wrap that part up, but I just want to tell you.
Oh, thank you.
Hardcore, love that show. I did
excited
not
to watch
realize you
it.
couldn't find it anymore. I actually did
But
a
you
short-lived.
can. You just got to get it on
Right,
iTunes.
right,
I'm
right.
gonna
I just
do
didn't
it.
know you could search it out like that. Like you have to go.
And thank you
Yeah.
for also saying that the whole Showtime Max HBO thing is confusing because I'm like, what the fuck? Every time I go in there, I have to like reroute to that other app and then sign it, and it's very weird. So thank you for
shit is
acknowledging
constantly
that.
changing names too.
Yeah.
Like it's not this, it's that now. It's like and I just feel like really what's happening is there was too many streamers. I don't think they were making money, and so now it's all being scaled back,
Yeah.
and just the biz is in a weird
They're
spot.
just gobbling everything up. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
But what
It's
was
an
great
interesting
was-
time.
Yeah, we got
Let's
to
talk about a simpler time. Let's talk about because I'm chomping at the bit here
Yeah.
to talk about the fact that we grew up literally right next door from each other on
I've
Long Island.
always felt connected to you on the show because
Oh my!
of that.
Do you know like how? Do you understand though? Like, I'm like not gonna cry because that is like weird on like right
That
now.
would
But
be
like,
real weird.
I have so much Long Island pride. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even tell you. Like, I
my God, you
love
are gonna
everything
cry.
because I really, when I have support from somebody from Long Island,
Yeah.
it means. Not that it doesn't mean to me. I love all my fans, but it
Yeah.
means so much more to me because it's like my people,
Yeah.
and like it is such a unique capture of people and one, small. It's so small, and
Yeah.
like when you grow up on Long Island, and I don't know if you felt the same way. This is why I love talking to people
Y'all
who
have some
come from my front.
pride.
Yeah.
When we like the way we grow up is you think that Long Island is the best place in the whole world,
The center of the world.
better than everywhere else,
Yeah.
and then like honestly it's a little bubble, and then you go away and you meet places like Orange County and you're like, well shit, it's like
Yeah.
actually 75 and sunny here every day.
Yeah.
But it still is like such a special, incredible little place to grow up.
Yeah.
And like I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world.
You know what the thing about Long Island is, like, the people there have a lot of heart.
Yes.
The people there like are big lovers. And that's the thing that I think whenever I get a little cynical about having grown up there, because there's some stuff that's tough about growing up there. Like
Totally.
especially lately, I feel like it's become like way more conservative than it was when I was growing up. And I just feel like everyone there is pretty hard-headed. You know what I mean? Like it's like a New York City mentality.
Super macho Italian.
They're
Very
tough.
that.
I mean, I
Tough.
don't, I also grew up, like, I do sometimes I get a little, when I look back, I try to break traditions. It's like, I still make the food I make and
Yeah.
da-da-da, but like sometimes I'm like angry about it because I'm like, why was it this place where like as a woman, it's like your role is to like grow up and get married and then make that pot of sauce still and da-da-da. And I
pot of
can
sauce.
imagine that like, for people for different reasons, there are when you leave there,
Yeah.
you look back when you break out a little bit, you
Yeah.
look back and you're like, wait a minute, like
Yeah.
that's not.
Well, because I think it's a very it's a place where like people really make their lives. Like
Mm-hmm.
my parents both
Start to end.
Absolutely. I mean, my
Mm-hmm.
parents have both lived there their entire life. They grew up in the same town, and a lot of my aunts and uncles have been there, and it's like generational. Like it's very there's a lot of pride.
Right. And then you marry, like, you marry, there's like, well, actually, you were the prom king.
I was
of
the prom
Islip.
king. It was, yeah. Where did you grow up? Like,
So
what
I grew
town?
up in North Babylon, and then when I moved, we were literally. Right
I
next door to each
literally
other.
went to elementary school in West Babylon. My parents live
did
in
you?
West Babylon now.
Oh my gosh, that's wild. So
Yeah.
we literally grew up right next door to each
Very
other.
that, Suffolk
and then
County
I
even.
moved from South Shore of Suffolk County.
There we go.
I mean, that's legit.
This is fun,
Right?
I didn't know it was that specific.
No, go
Oh, wow.
Bulldogs. Yes.
Yep.
And then I actually recently took Travis back, and I took him to Wally's Bagels, and I took him to my high school, and I took him to the beach, to Gilgo Beach. Like
Gilgo.
Yes.
Oh, this is so.
I know,
Can
it's
ask you,
deep.
Like, so you're an Orange County housewife, but
Yes.
you really are so
normal.
New York.
I am
Normal.
so New York.
I like-
I'm not normal.
I like
all
you
right,
said
all right.
normal.
Maybe that was a stretch, but I am very New
It's
York.
I mean,
so New
but
York.
in terms of like you are like an outlier on that
I'm
cast
such
because
an
you are a lot
outlier.
more down to earth, and I feel like
And I'm at least 10 years younger than everybody else.
than everybody else.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it really is wild that I do,
Yeah.
but somehow I do still fit in.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you need different people from different perspectives. If they casted all the same woman, it
Yeah.
wouldn't really make sense. And I do represent a big population of Orange County, because a big population of Orange County are transplants.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I'm existing where I'm existing, a lot of my friends are from Chicago and from New York and
Yeah.
from Philly. And there really are a lot. I feel like there's more people not from California than
Yeah.
there are from California.
But
I think that's just California.
It is. But the best thing that makes you fit in and that makes everyone fall in love with you is how terrible you looked early.
I know. So
Like,
bad, guys.
You know what? That's Long Island too, though.
It's a woman in
crisis. I
crisis.
could show you a picture.
And
of me.
look, everyone gets pissed when I talk about that. I don't
No.
mean terrible. That I'm not judging women. I'm saying you went through this amazing
I looked like
glow
what I was
up.
going through.
You did, and the tracks and we've talked about it. We've gone
made
through
all
it.
yes, we've talked about it.
But people get pissed when I say that. They have to understand our friendship. That
It's
I'm just
okay.
saying.
At the time, though, did you feel good about the way you looked?
Okay, I will
couldn't
be
have.
honest. My first year on the show,
Yeah.
I thought I was adorable. Like I was like, and honestly,
You always do. At the
That-
time, it's
no,
never.
but, like,
You're never like.
I'm
I
not
look
even.
bad.
I'm not even gonna like. I will stand by. When I look back now at my first year on the show, I still
But
don't
that's not-
see anything wrong with it.
but
I had
that's
my
not
own
where it
hair.
went.
Yeah.
I didn't know that things like white shimmery eyeshadows, like I didn't know things like you white out more on camera. So I was wearing like
No one
pretty
tells you.
silvery eyeshadow. I don't, to this day, most of the time I do my own hair and makeup on the show.
Really?
But wait,
I-
just
you
to be
know.
sure, like Kelly Dodd didn't tell you.
All right, but then nobody told me. Nobody's trying to help me. No.
That's the thing is, I wonder is it's like
Oh,
I
they're
wonder
like
if the
white,
Housewives-
shimmery.
When someone new comes in, they're like,
Well,
let's see.
the way that it was when Emily and I joined the cast was very much Cutthroat Island. It was like Survivor, and they wanted us out, and I didn't even know what was going on, you know?
Yeah.
So this all happened by accident. So then now we're very gracious and receiving to the new women. It's just having a hard time getting them to stick has been tough, but
Yeah,
we
it has.
welcome them. We want them to stick. We're like not trying to be low man on the totem pole still after 6 years.
still
you
are on
know?
the-
and we're
the
still
out.
like, so, you know.
But you
yeah.
moved this year
We should,
on
yeah.
the the couch.
You know what? I've
you move
always
on the
been
couch?
a middle
Oh, yes, you
person.
did.
Emily's waiting to get off the end, and she jokes about it all the time. She's like, maybe I won't be on the damn end of the couch this year.
Well, let
For
me
some
tell you.
reason,
Well,
I've
it
just
kinda
been a
feels
middle
like,
person.
It now kind of feels like with the placement on couches, and now we're getting into what I have a PhD in, which is this bullshit.
If you
is
think you're gonna out couch
what do
me,
you do?
let's do this.
Ooh, couch off.
I actually
really
do.
do.
I actually
It's like
do
the
think
beach
you do.
off.
Ooh,
I
yes,
think-
Barbie?
yes,
I
beach
actually
couch off.
Just beach.
I have wanted this with you so bad. When I watch you on
Watch What
Andy,
Happens Live, when I'm in my
when I
element.
see you on the podcast or
So
listen to
fun
you,
watch.
I'm like, this is my person.
I'm
This
so happy.
is who I need to have.
I feel like
I-
I've like gagged over you, and I do have to tell you, I am such a fan
your
of what
moment.
you do, and I have to tell you, like, especially now in this, want to talk to you so much about what you think about Beyonce doing country.
Oh my God, I know. Let's talk about it with Matt.
I want to know about
Again,
like
we talked about
this,
it. We talked about
and
it, yeah.
I wonder how you feel about this thing of like, you know, country's in or country's back. It's
Yeah.
like country's been
It's tough.
been popping off. But
I
like,
do want to just say before we go into this, just to round that out, because
Yeah.
I have to for my own sake. I knew that I was overweight, tracks
Oh,
out. I just got to round this up, all right? I knew I was in a very bad spot.
Yeah.
Did I care? Honestly, no.
She really
because
didn't.
what I cared about at that time was getting myself to homeostasis and keeping my kids up.
Yeah.
And that was what that looks like.
And also, not for nothing, but what was depicted was very real.
And it was real. So like, I don't know. And I'm not judging if these other women can go through all of this shit and still be well bowed and snatched and da-da-da. God bless. But to me, that is my last priority and the last thing I'm worrying about when I'm having a trauma, you know, and going through a crisis.
And it sets
now
you
I'm
apart.
out of it and I could brush my hair.
And it's amazing. And
but I'm still not even that great. I'll be honest. I just don't care.
So back to what Matt thinks of me.
Yes. Okay. Moving on.
What I'll say is continue to not care and continue to do you, because you're great on the show and you're a great part of the show and an important part of the show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I just feel like it's just so funny to be sitting here with both of you, because it's like the part of me that's obsessed with music and the part of me that's obsessed with Housewives.
That's why we do it.
Satiated right
That's
now.
so awesome. Yeah.
And it meant a lot to me when I put my album out and you said that you even listened to it and liked it at all.
So much. That became our Christmas.
I love that.
It's Casey and Matt. I mean, it was
that.
that was our Christmas.
And you've
she's
done a lot.
back.
You have such a wide range of talents, which is really cool.
I really felt like in the beginning I had to, because when I was growing up on Long Island, like we were saying, like I didn't see a lot of, and I feel like it's been said so many times that it kind of loses power, like the representation matters thing. Mm-hmm. But when you look out and you have this like dream of doing this kind of thing, and you think you're talented and you think you might have what it takes, but you look out and you don't see anyone doing a version of what you want to do, and you don't see a version of yourself really. Because I'm like talking about like the late 90s, early 2000s, where I think the representation on TV was like Will and Grace, and this is a time when
as
Sean
a homosexual
wasn't even
male,
out.
this is what we're trying. Okay,
yes, and or anyone that's like, you know, doesn't see themselves depicted. For me though, yes, I wanted to do this. I wasn't seeing it, and then by the time I finally had come out of the closet and you know, was at school, I went to NYU. I kind of said to myself, like, I have a feeling that for anything to work, I have to try to develop in all these areas, because you just have to kind of throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Like, luckily several things have been able to stick, but it's very
true. And I do think honestly that is something that is for everybody, but I can understand that if you don't look out and see yourself represented, that you feel even more pressure by that, or like it's already more the feeling of I have to diversify my portfolio, or there's more doors that may not open for different reasons for you, and that's different. That's a tough pill to swallow.
And I guess another part of it is I just kind of assumed I wouldn't make it, so I was just like, why don't I just get really good at all these things that I like, so that like I love music, I love writing, like I do love acting, like I love all these things. And I just said, you know, I'm just going to commit to being myself and try to do this the best I can. And I met Bo and Yang when I was at college. We started our podcast like 4 years after school, just because.
There must have been a part of you though then, because see, it's the same thing with Housewives, where I don't know how these things happen or how I make it, but there was, now looking back, like it all happened by accident, but there was a small part of me that kind of knew and I felt something, like I felt that like I was gonna, and it was, and I was like, this is so insane, like whatever, but I just had this feeling like the right place, right time, right situation. And for you, like you're saying, I assumed I wouldn't make it, but you were doing everything that you had to do, and you obviously believed in
there was
yourself.
some part of you that
You know
definitely
what it was?
believed
it was two things. It was, I did genuinely believe
you were good enough.
I believed I was good enough, and I knew that nobody would work harder. And so, and another thing was, and this goes back to the Long Island of it all, like my parents never, ever, ever said to me, what are you going to do if this doesn't work out?
Wow.
They never said that to me. Like even when I was broke for years waiting tables in New York, because I waited tables from like, I worked in restaurants from like 16 to 27, like a really long time. Yeah. And like I know people do it longer than that, but for me it was just like it was really a survival job, and I was.
I can't imagine how fun it was to have you wait on somebody.
You know, you think it would be more fun, but I'm actually way more like fast professional than I am like.
I actually loved waiting tables. Like,
did you? You probably were good.
I look back now, and of course I didn't enjoy it then, because all I could think about was, when is something going to happen for me where I don't have to wait tables? But the actual act of it sort of makes use of all the things I'm good at, which is moving in and out of situations, remembering things,
reading people.
Exactly. I mean,
So
honestly,
I would get good tips when I waitress in college. I had the best bedside manner, made so many friends, would never bring you what you ordered.
Oh,
Horrible.
really?
Oh.
You were not good at the machine. You were not good at the POS.
I just wanted to bullshit.
POS.
What is it? The POS, right?
It's like I think that's right.
I'm
That's what it's
just front of house. Like,
I've been-
I loved the talking
been a
to the
hostess.
people, and I was a hostess.
Oh, okay,
and I was behind the pizza counter
So you were
for
doing it
years,
all.
Pizzaiola, North Babylon for years. Yeah, I did it. Well, I did
Damn.
anything I had to do. I worked at Tan Salon. I was a shop girl. I
think-
worked at Party City for a free Halloween costume one year. I mean,
Oh
I
my
did
God,
everything.
that is
I
fun.
work.
Yeah.
Matt, I used to work as a bartender at Mickey's.
You better shut the fuck up.
I did.
At Mickey's. What era was this? Like
This
when?
was in 2004.
Wow.
Oh, and it was happening.
I bet it was.
There was more cocaine and more like
hardcore.
like
Like
the
when Mickey's
dancers
was the spot.
before it burned down.
Did
It
burn
burned
down?
in like 2010ish.
Oh, okay.
And they rebuilt this place they have now.
Yeah.
But back then, I mean, it was just like all the dancers and everybody was. I mean, it was the
Fucking
true
it up.
old school. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, 2004 still seems. It wasn't the 80s.
I was in college.
But yeah, I mean, I shouldn't have been there in 2004. The truth is, at that point, I was 30. I mean, it was, but
It's not that
it
bad.
was a great gig. But I'm only telling you that because I knew you'd appreciate the fact that everybody
Mickey's.
that knows this bar is like Mickey's.
Yeah, it's iconic.
Really?
I mean, that's like the one you could say, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, for sure, Mickey's WeHo."
Oh yeah,
Like, that's, like,
absolutely.
the one.
No, it's a true, like, what do you call it? Like not ticket, like a name.
Speakeasy?
Like a
What do they call it? Like
it's a big ticket name.
like
we know what it is. It's marquee.
like marquee or something.
It's like the place. You know where I went the other night on a date? So I've
Like
been
the
dating this guy for like
Roxbury?
6 weeks. I went to Sir.
You
Oh my
did.
gosh.
He lives right by it, and I go, it would be so fun if we went to Sir.
It's a rite
you
of
see
passage,
anybody?
though. I have girlfriends who visit. They want to go all those places, and I'm happy to do it. You know how many
Yeah.
times I've taken my girlfriends to Quiet Woman? I
Yeah,
don't
oh,
care.
yeah.
It's fun.
I want to go to Quiet Woman.
It's fun. I will
Me
take
too.
you
Look at
there.
I'll text
I
you
will
after
take
this
you
and we'll
there.
go.
Yes.
Oh my
we'll
God,
blow
that's
on
amazing.
the door,
The
the
whole
whole
thing.
thing. We'll
You
throw a plate.
Who did you see?
Peter Madrigal. Peter Madrigal on the floor
Actually,
managing
yeah, he's there a
the
lot
restaurant.
because
You-
Rick
I
just
mean-
went there for a birthday party, and he was there. They took pictures with him. Yeah.
Yeah, he was fully
Yeah.
there looking the same, like literally on the floor managing, like looking like a manager that
Yeah.
we would have had back in the day. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like literally.
He
Like,
works there.
I would
He
have
just
went
works there.
fully. I would have went up to him and been like, yo, I feel like it's dead. Can I get cut? You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
100%. Like he
God.
so gives that. And he was also doing this like manager thing, or maybe it's just like I'm a cool guy and I'm Peter Madrigal thing where he was like walking past the bar and being like making noise and being like
Trying to get recognized. Yeah.
doing the manager thing, but also plus because it was like fully Peter, and he has to know that like
Managing
at
on
least
steroids.
60% of the people there know who he is.
Yeah.
It's like watching Mickey Mouse
It's like
walk
his
around.
shtick.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, at Disney.
And then I thought of
But
myself,
they're
like,
also
everybody
eat
wants
up
the
with it. I mean,
picture.
it's a drug. Like I noticed it at BravoCon.
Yeah.
That there's
Yeah.
this level of like, and you really don't have it. I mean, it's actually getting to
Yeah.
know her it's kind of mind blowing the way she fell into this. But anyway,
You mean like the staying grounded of it all, like the thing of like I'm not preening to watch someone to look at me. It's because the Long Island thing.
right?
That's
Yeah,
what it is.
exactly.
I'm just
We don't really
have
care.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't care. Honestly,
Yeah.
and I don't want to seem disrespectful or like ungrateful because I am, but I would give back the celebrity of it all if
Yeah,
I could.
I get that.
Like I have
Boo.
some, I know. And no, look, don't get me wrong. It feels great when somebody comes up to me and it makes them feel good. I love taking pictures with people and you make their day
Yeah.
and all that. But to me, it's like a power that I have to make other people happy.
Yeah,
and I
right.
love that. I'm addicted to that, to
Yeah.
making people happy. But like also when I have a social anxiety. Like when I'm in Target or whatever, it's like harder
Well-
for me to go out by myself. And I don't know what it is. It just
At
I
BravoCon,
understand.
your ass
Weird.
had to just get rid of it because I thought I was with the damn Beatles. I mean,
But that's different
Yeah, but
because
you're
I
you're
know
on.
why I'm
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. You
Yeah.
know, it's weird when it's just your everyday life. Or like now, you know, I don't want people to think that I think I'm better than them or anything like that. You know, so I get in my head about it a lot.
There is a degree of like mind fuckiness that comes with
Yeah.
like knowing that you can't just be out there and do and say anything because someone could ostensibly see you
take
and
it out
be
of
like,
context.
oh, I saw them, say something not nice. Like this is so weird, but it was December. Bowen and I were crossing an intersection. It was December in New York City. So we're crossing an intersection to go to dinner. And it's packed in New York City. I'm telling you, like, height of Christmas. And this guy comes over to Bowen and is like, can I get a picture with you? Doesn't even say, like, I'm a fan. And we're in the middle of the intersection. Just like, can I get a picture with you? And he goes, oh, I'm sorry, we're running to dinner. And, like, we walked away. I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, we don't have time. We went away. Immediately on Grindr, Bowen gets a message like, just saw you blow off a fan. Like, can't believe this.
Wait a minute.
And I'm like, it just happened.
On Grindr? Wait a minute, back up. I'm sorry for the old man in the room. Grindr is like and I'm not trying to, I just have been out of the game for so long, okay?
I get you.
Grindr is like Twitter? Like
but like I guess for some reason he like got a notification or opened up his Grindr and someone literally had harassed him for something that just happened 2 seconds ago. And he's like very famous. But my point is like, there is a degree of self-awareness that comes in, and that's not comfortable all the time because of what you're saying.
Right.
Like, it's just...
Well, it also could just be a really bad timing, and people do not understand that.
And I wish it wasn't even
or it's just like
that.
it's just like me feeling like I just don't know if people do know or don't know. And also like there is this level of like, I want people to like me for me.
Yeah. And
I used to be the person that everywhere I go, the grocery store and everything, I like talking to the person at the cash register. Like I like talking to the lady about the, when we're in the same aisle and we're talking about the products or whatever. I like that. But now I don't know if they're talking to me just because they want to talk about the products too, or because they know me and
they're
they just don't want to say.
They know you.
And it's but I used to just talk to everybody anyway.
But that's
so
okay though, right?
Different.
I mean, it's still, because the thing is, you're kind of celebrity. The thing about it is that they are seeing you.
Either.
They're seeing
popular.
you.
I don't have a talent.
Well, they're seeing you as you are. So it's like when you saw Peter and he's just like, it's almost like going to the zoo or something.
Right.
And there you went to see.
In my natural habitat. They like to get me.
That would be, when I've seen Housewives out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like watching their every move.
Yeah, me too.
I say hi now a lot, but
I
think that's because I feel like I've been in Watch What Happens Live enough now where they might be aware.
Yeah.
Like, but it was interesting at BravoCon, and LOL me even talking about this because I was also there, but it was interesting. Like, I would go up to people just being like, I mean, I'm here in like the back. I mean, like, it's not like I'm nobody going up to them. Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
you actually hosted.
I was a moderator and I was there and I'm a fan and I was
right.
there. And so I went up to some people and it was really interesting, like who was nice and who was not, because it's not who you think.
I know. I found that.
Wasn't who you think.
I want to go through the list.
Well, tell me more about that.
I'll say this.
Yes.
One of the kindest people there was Shannon Bedore.
Yeah, well, she was on best behavior. Let's be honest.
She came over.
Yeah.
She said,
No,
I just want to say,
sweet.
I absolutely love that for you. I'm such a big
really
fan
nice.
of yours.
Yeah.
I love watching you
Shannon
on Watch What
is,
Happens Live.
I'll be honest, Shannon is very kind also to fans. Like, she'll like she'll do, like, oh, let's do a Teresa Migas. Like, she'll like do a shtick so that they leave with like feeling like they got something out of it. So like,
she
kudos
came
to
over.
her
Her energy was really good.
Yeah.
Like, she was very kind, and I really had a nice conversation with her, and I felt a little bad because about a week prior I had referred to her as not seeming well on the show.
Oh.
And but
a
here's
week
the thing.
prior she also like crashed into a house, so I
She
think
didn't
that's
seem
valid.
well on the
I
show.
think that's valid.
I try to
Yes.
call everything like I said.
Yeah.
I
She
think
was
that's
not
what's
well
fun
last
about
year.
Watch What Happens
Shannon
Live.
was not well last year.
No,
we'll be
But I
honest,
bet you, I
so.
mean, even now talking about it, I mean, you also
You're gonna
say
this season's gonna blow everybody's mind.
I
By the
bet,
way,
I
like
bet.
I it's blowing my mind.
You know
Yeah.
who was super warm at BravoCon that I've talked about, who really was Garcelle.
Oh, I
She's great.
Garcelle
First of all,
is,
I was in that
the
room, that like
best.
holding room.
Yes.
And when Garcelle came in, the energy shifted.
Yeah.
It was.
She's
true.
got an
She is
aura.
like a
does
queen.
she has energy? She really deserves
Matt,
it. Like,
I was-
she has it.
She's
She is
got
so
it.
She
kind.
does.
She's always been. You know what is interesting for me too, because you say this from like where you're like, I'm just the moderator or whatever, but I'm an actual housewife and I've been doing this it's been 7 years of my life, 6
Yeah.
seasons. And I still feel like a peon next to all these women who are the big grand poopahs and whatever. And so I don't ever go up to, I'm still just kind of fine. I'm like still that Bambi leg stage.
You shouldn't feel like that, though.
I know I shouldn't, but like, and I
But
don't
you
really, but I
also-
also don't go out of my way to do, I just don't really
I don't ever want to.
care
I
this much.
actually know Garcelle a little bit because she came on our podcast, and her energy in person made me feel like, oh, I don't want to bother her.
No.
It had nothing to
I
do
get
with
that.
like her not being nice or whatever. I
Yeah.
know she's lovely, but I was just like,
Here's a question.
She
Garcelle is here.
goes out of her way to be
She's
so
great.
She was
kind.
so
She's great.
And like she
nice.
knows who I am. Like when some of them they just pretend, even if they do know, they'll pretend like they don't really know you or they don't have time for you.
I've definitely
There's
seen
a
that.
difference when some of these women now and they're like the big players, big time players.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, Gina, oh my gosh, hi, so good. It's so nice. It really is
Yeah.
like a
But I did see
sorority.
people
Yeah,
try to
it's not-
pretend like
They
there
don't
were
know.
people that were try to like would sort of act like they didn't for sure know
It's
who you
so
were when they
First of all,
definitely
here's how I'll
know
tell
who
you that
are.
everyone knows.
Or maybe it's just because I look better.
No, everyone knows who the fuck you are because this was essentially an all-stars episode of Housewives. Was that Project Runway episode,
Oh,
which
that
was
was
my
so
favorite
fun.
episode of
Yes.
television that whole year. Like, was watching you guys do the runway, and obviously your designer got eliminated.
Do you know how hard I cried when
That was
she went home?
awful.
I felt so awful because
That was sad.
I felt responsible because she
No.
didn't know. Like she's so talented, but she had no idea anything
That
about
was
Housewife
Anna,
World.
right?
Anna,
Well, she
yeah.
came back on All Stars and did great.
I know she crushed
Yeah.
it,
You
but
are-
I just felt like I should have. I felt like I should have told
I
her.
told you I'm gonna kick your ass.
I don't
Yeah,
even. I don't
you're in
even want to.
trouble
I
here.
just am in awe.
She
start-
was great.
let's start
But
with
anyway,
a lob.
here's the thing. And here's another thing, though. One person, I don't even know if I want to go here. But so I watched Potomac, and Potomac is tough because they don't interact. They don't like each other.
It's so odd,
And it's hard
yeah.
because like I'm so Team Wendy and Candace that like I can't with Gizelle and Robin anymore. But Gizelle and Robin are so like here to stay, and we talk about it on our podcast and on Watch What Happens Live. I have a couple drinks, 1 or 9 drinks, and then I get on there and I start talking my shit.
Yeah.
And then you get to BravoCon
Back on your
and there's
bullshit.
Gizelle Bryant, and I'm like, and it was the only person I literally ran away from. I avoided.
That's so funny.
Sorry to be-
you know what's so funny? I love Giselle.
And I'm sure she's great.
And
in
I don't-
person,
I've
but
never-
but I find
and
her to
this
be
is-
vicious on the show.
well, the thing is, I've never watched the show.
Don't.
So I only know
your
Giselle
friendship.
personally.
See, I don't
and
watch
I love
Potomac
her
either, but
personally on a
she's so
personal-
Yeah.
stunning.
Oh,
Like one of the
beautiful.
most beautiful women.
But I hear that and I'm like, really? You know,
Well, on the
it
show,
blows
it's
my
like
mind.
it's because you know what it's like when the difference between someone being like, I'm picking a fight with you, and it's like feels within the bounds of Housewives, and then when it sort of gets too dark or too much, I feel like that's Potomac. Potomac is
Yeah.
just it's getting to the point where it's just not that fun to watch, and I have to say,
Imagine what it's like to show up to work.
crazy.
It's awful.
I have a quick question because you clearly do. I would love to just talk Housewives with you. I need 5 hours, but I need an opinion on something
I
because
will
we
give an
both
opinion.
just
I'm
gushed.
very good at giving an
We
opinion.
gushed over Garcelle,
Yeah.
and I loved her.
Love
No
Garcelle.
matter, you love her on the show. How do you feel? Because I feel funny about the way she has gone after Dorit.
Okay, so here's my thing with Garcelle and Dorit. I do agree with Garcelle that Dorit uses microaggressions. I think that Dorit has a way of, and you can tell because she also did it to Crystal.
Yep.
So it's like it is an issue with the way that she is just unaware of how she's impacting someone.
That's true.
When she says a certain thing. However, I will say, I did think that my two things with Garcelle are, one, I think it was wrong to infer that the robbery was staged.
That was hard.
And two, if you don't
However,
like
I have
Dorit,
heard more stuff about that. But
that you
all
think
right.
it could be staged?
Oh, you know what? I'm going to back myself up from
Yeah,
that.
don't get us into a fight with Dorit
And
because.
It might not matter
But wait,
anymore.
what was the second?
yeah,
What was the
what
second
that
thing
plate's
though?
all
What was
about.
the second thing?
The second thing is I think that Garcelle just doesn't like Dorit.
She doesn't.
And so
she-
therefore I'm like,
Clearly.
all right, well
But-
then why are we doing this?
But I do have to say this. I've never
irked by
early
her.
on Dorit, like I could not stand her. I
think
used
she's
to
maybe
even
the funniest
tweet
working house
about her, but then through the years it changed for me, and this
Yeah.
season particularly, I have never seen someone keep their composure through so many bullets. every time she is so well spoken. Like she never.
I mean, I'm offended. The only thing I think offensive is the bad accent. It's fake accent.
No.
What is the accent?
Saying,
I can't get over it. I say it all the time. So one thing I can't get over.
I love it though.
But when y'all give me hear me out.
Kyle,
hear me out, Bubba.
Kyle.
Bubba. But hear me out. Okay. When they're sitting there and she's being accused of being a racist and she's being accused of all these things, she never, I mean, there were so many moments where I thought, man, I would be so defensive right now that I would end up making myself look like those things.
But you would think.
But she does, I feel like that is the issue, is she does continue to defend.
She does do these things. And she's incredibly defensive.
She's too defensive.
I don't think she comes off as defensive.
She comes off as very defensive.
I think I think of defensive as like sort of losing your cool.
But that's
to me, she always just stays. She's like, what was it what she said on the reunion the other night when she said, do you not like me?
Yeah.
And Garcelle
which I think
said,
is a really fair question.
It is. And she said,
and Garcelle, to her credit, was like,
do you like me? And she said sometimes.
I think so, or sometimes.
Yeah, she didn't. It wasn't a warm. Yeah. It wasn't a warm answer. Well, clearly, that is why I asked you, because I feel like I'm alone in seeing. I've really had this sort of soft spot for Dorit, but hearing you say that you do, and you agree, meaning that there is something there in the microaggressions and in the way that she's continuously doing. Do you don't think Dorit will come back?
I think the issue with her is that instead of every time Garcelle says this is my issue, this is what I'm trying to tell you is my perspective. Yeah. Instead of first receiving Garcelle's perspective, she always just wants to say her perspective and where she's coming from. And I think that in any argument, you first have to validate that person's feelings and see their perspective. And then that opens up room for you to then give where you were coming from. But I think she misses that step, and she immediately goes into why it's that she wasn't doing that or wasn't meaning that. Okay. Yeah. And first she has to say, I'm sorry that what I did made you feel that way.
She does do that though.
It takes her so long.
It takes her so long to get there though. It's like getting an apology out of Shannon last year. It was like, even getting the apology was like freaking, you got to crack it open like a piñata. Like you have to take a lot of blows before it starts coming out, and it's exhausting.
You know, the thing too is, it's just like, I have identified as being in my life, I've worked on it, but I've been a defensive person before. Mm-hmm. Like my first boyfriend, like he was always like, you're so defensive, I can't bring anything up with you because it's immediately like you act like I'm attacking you and you end up attacking me. And I genuinely feel like Dorit needs to work on that, because you're right, does not just, like when Garcelle sat down and they were having breakfast and she said, last night when we were talking about our families, I kind of got triggered because the last time my kids were around, they were damaged by what you guys did, period. Yeah.
The first move there should have been, oh my God, first of all, I'm
so
sorry you're still feeling this way. I want to fix this.
Yeah,
like, how am I? I'm so sorry. Yeah, not that. That's the defensive move, right? Yeah. And I'm not saying that her point is valid, right? It has been a really long time. But first you just go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. How can we fix this? And then you maybe say like, honestly, Garcelle, that was so long ago. I didn't even know that this was something that was still bothering you. And I feel like so much time went by, and you have to take control of it in a different way. But she doesn't ever see Garcelle. No. And I'm not saying this I'm saying this for Dorit, it's like to help her, because I just think you have to see the person and let them know that you see them before you start speaking up for yourself. And I think that's part of the problem, is Garcelle's just like, can you just see me? I'm here and these are my feelings.
Yeah, and then what happens is Garcelle gets frustrated. Yeah. And then when Garcelle gets frustrated, Dorit frames it as, you're being too much, you're attacking me. Mm-hmm. And then Garcelle gets even more triggered because of what that word means to her. Yes. And it's just like, why did I even engage with you in the first place? Right. Like, and it just becomes frustrating.
But I also think Garcelle can't do that either, because you know what? These are issues.
I don't think she's a saint.
No, because these are issues that are a long time coming and everything, but then you have to grant grace on that side too. It's not going to be easy to get people who have been the same way and have the same perspective all their whole lives to now change everything about the way they do
she's running out of chance.
I got to jump
Yeah.
in because I didn't mean to make this about Garcelle. But I am impressed with you, who is always like, you know what, you'll probably have to carry this with Matt because I don't know all the Housewives shit. I mean, really?
I watched
What do you
a little
mean?
Beverly. I don't really watch any
The
of
other
them.
franchises?
Yeah, because I just don't have time, honestly. And I keep being like, I want to watch. But I started Beverly Hills this year, and then I saw a couple clips of the reunion.
Well, I don't know how I feel about you having all
Beverly
this
Hills
information.
is
And I think it's
pretty
enough. Yeah.
fucking great.
It's great.
It is.
Especially
and
the
I love
early
all the
seasons
women.
of
Listen,
Beverly
I
Hills.
love them all. I
It's
love
a
Dorit. I love
great-
Garcelle. I love them all.
Like, do you know them more because they're California? Or does that not matter?
Maybe like no, because I love Melissa Gorga.
I love
Love
Melissa.
Gorga.